down in Gironde and neighboring Landis after a wildfire swept through the region. More than 1,000 firefighters, 9 aircraft and 2 helicopters have been mobilized to battle the fire. And Gironde was hit by major wildfires in July, which destroyed more than 20,000 hectares of forest and forced the evacuation of almost 40,000 people. As well as battling forest fires, France is seen as the worst drought on record this summer. And in Japan, daily COVID-19 cases have reached a new record high, with over 250,000 new infections logged on Wednesday. And fueled by the highly transmissible Omicron BA.5 subvariant, 20 of Japan's 47 prefectures saw a record number of infections. The country has also registered over 250 COVID-19 deaths. Japan's health ministry said the number of those in critical condition due to COVID went up by 16. And this latest wave has raised concerns over the strain it's having on the country's healthcare system. And the Chinese mainland has reported more than 600 new COVID cases, most of which are based in Hainan. The resort city of Sanya is the hardest hit in Hainan's outbreak. More than 550 new cases were reported in Hainan on Wednesday. And Guangdong province near Hainan reported 25 cases as well. While more than 1,300 asymptomatic cases were reported across the country. Health officials say China's prevention and control efforts are facing mounting pressure recently. Medical teams have been dispatched to affected regions to aid containment efforts. And meanwhile, Chinese authorities have approved the use of Azudine, China's first domestically produced antiviral used to treat COVID-19. For more on the latest in hard-hit Hainan province, we're now joined by guest reporter Ian Inglis, who is now in Sanya, Hainan province. Ian, hello there. Well, give us a sense of the latest situation on the COVID there in Hainan, and around 80,000 tourists are currently stranded in Sanya, as we know. What measures are currently in place to help them get back home?
Yes, well, there's no doubt that the latest outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic here in Hainan is much more serious than the last one, which was in April of this year, with many more positive cases having been identified this time around. This, of course, has brought great pressure to bear on the local medical facilities and staff. But not to worry, as you mentioned, help was at hand, with medical teams from all over China having been flown in to ease this pressure and to continue the testing, which has now been stepped up a pace and could be likened to a well-oiled machine running like clockwork. The city has identified 88 high-risk areas and 26 medium-risk areas, with different levels of different rules applying depending on the perceived level of risk. So, for example, a friend of mine who lives in the city centre, he has told me he's not able to exit his flat. But again, not to worry, the government has arranged for teams of volunteers to send food and other provisions up to their flats, up to their doors, to ease the metaphorical pain. As for myself, the compound in which I live has pretty much continued to function normally, with cooked meals being served in our restaurant. Our on-site supermarket buys in fresh fruit and vegetables every day and sells to us at normal market prices. Just across the road is Sanya's biggest fruit and veg market, which was closed for 2 days for disinfecting, but subsequently reopened and has continued to provide sustenance to the local community. The tourists, whom you just mentioned, yes, well, the government has made a range of offers of assistance to them, most notably offering a 50% discount on their accommodation bills. The government is also working closely with the towns and cities from which these tourists have come in order to expedite their return. To date, 14 flights have been arranged by the government and have taken over 2,000 of the tourists back home already.
And that's to know all those measures are in place right now, but still hope this round of outbreak will be contained as soon as possible. Thank you very much, Ian Inglis, reporting from Sanya, Hainan province. You're now watching Global Watch on CGTN. Still ahead. Our series on China's rising cities looks at the role of Quanzhou in maritime trade.